So I'm just going to go through a couple of angle question examples that are on your revision sheet, just to show you how to use the angle rules that I went through in the other video. So for question 2, we've got 3 angles we need to find, B, C and D, and then we know one of the angles. So the first angle we're able to work out is B, because it's an opposite angle, this one here. So that means we know that B is equal to 170 degrees because it's opposite angle. Okay, so B is 170 because it's an opposite angle. Okay, so we know that D and C are also going to be the same because they're opposite, but we don't know at the moment what they're going to be equal to. So we have to use another one of our rules, which is that angles around a point equals 360. So if I know this is 170, this is 170, so altogether those two angles equal 340. The total all the way around is 360. So if I take away 340, 360, I get 20. And that is what these two angles have to add up to. So 360, take away this angle, leaves us with 20 degrees. However, since these two angles, D and C, are the same, that means I can just split this 20 degrees in half. So 20 divided by 2 gives you 10 degrees. So that means that C is equal to 10 degrees and D is also equal to 10 degrees. So a couple of rules we've used there. Okay, question 6 then. Again, got to use a couple of different rules here. The first angle we can work out is J, because it's opposite angles to this one. So that means that J is 60 degrees because it's an opposite angle. Okay, so now we've got ourselves here a triangle. And these dashes here mean that these two side lengths are the same, which means it's an isosceles, which means that these two angles are the same. And that's going to be an important thing we need to use. So because we now know that J is 60, and the angles in a triangle add up to 180, if I do 180 take away 60, which gives me 120 degrees, I know that these two angles here have to add up to 120. I also know that those two angles have to be the same. So very similar to example 2, I can do 120 divided by 2, gives me 60 degrees. And that means that K then is equal to 60 degrees. We've used the fact opposite angles are the same, and also angles in a triangle add up to 180. And you also need to notice that since these two sides are the same, these two angles will also be the same. Final one then, using angles on parallel lines. Here I've got a sort of backwards F angle, which means that this angle and this angle will be the same. So that means that P is 130 because they are corresponding. I've also got another F angle here, which means that P and Q are the same. Since P is 130, that means Q is 130 because it's corresponding. So I know Q is 130. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. So that means Q plus R is 180. So if I do 180 minus 130 gives me 50, which means R is equal to 50 degrees.